for anyone. As indeed in the bottom right here, spawning as our red Protoss player, the man, the myth, the legend, Cyan.
Playing for Mystery Gaming, of course, and in the top left-hand side, his opponent, representing Team Vitality now, it is Maru.
Is that a B?
The sign of Vitality?
Yeah. You know, it looks like many things at once. You know, you used to have this game back in the day where these little aliens were coming down and you could shoot them, you know? And they'd move row for row. You know what I mean?
Space Invaders?
Space Invaders. It kind of looks, if you don't see the heart shape in there, or the V, I guess it is, which is like kind of, it looks like a heart that's missing some pieces. It looks like a Space Invader almost.
It does.
It's a very nice logo. It has so many cool elements in it. You can see the V, it kind of looks like a heart, has the Space Invader. It also looks a bit like a pylon in a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean,
it does, yeah, for sure.
This is a good logo. I rate it very high. All right. Sorry, that was it. Ooh. Look at this.
What?
The Nexus before Core No Scout. I feel like Chinese Protoss players just have bigger brains. Like, they play against Serral, they play against Maru. What do? They don't scout. They play greedy, and then they go into some all-in or a timing. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, whenever I off-race and I play against someone that's 1k higher than me, which is basically Slam or something, I also play exactly like this. Because you know, you have nothing to lose. Like, if the guy chooses you, then so be it.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, you want to get every edge you can get. And you just gotta play your odds, basically. So I like the way Cyan is playing here.
I also freaking love his scouting pattern, by the way. So just popping in to see if there's a fast CC. No, that means it's going to be double gas. Then he comes back in. He wants to see whether it's a reactor or second Reaper. So this scouting pattern makes absolute sense to me. Is he even going to get the confirmation there on the CC? Yep, got the confirmation on the CC. So he knows it's most likely not going to be like some fast Cyclone into Starport build. It's just going to be... It could technically still be Cyclone, but it's really bad on this map if you don't have a Starport unit. So you can immediately eliminate so many options here out of the Terran. You have insanely good eco. It's going to follow this up with a quick Twilight as well. Adept, Stalker, into Twilight. No battery because he saw the lack of a second Reaper. He's taking every single edge that he can get.
Yeah, no second chrono boost as well on the gateway units. Like he has the maximum economy at this point. He even gets a second shot on the Reaper, which should almost certainly die here because that will get another shot on it as well if he micros it. Yes, does get it, and the Reaper dies. And this is a really good opening here for Cyan. Maru basically going for the very standard and safe opener, going 2 gas into Mind Drop, and Cyan playing greedy, which should match up very nicely here against what Maru is doing. He's even going 3 gate blink, no robo.
Yeah. If he skips the robo, gets a third base, yeah, I'll send him a love letter. Thinking. Like, this is okay, it's gonna get the robo. He's still afraid of like a Banshee, and I appreciate that because Maru has been playing some Banshee in the past. He likes those Banshees. It's not gonna be the case here. Of course, also could have been like an Armory Mind Drop, but it's really rare to see these days. It just doesn't happen very much, except when it's with reactored mines, which was not the case here. I don't think that Medevac got scouted, by the way.
It did not, yeah. I had the vision on of Cyan, and he barely didn't see it. He's now trying to catch the Adept with the Marines. Good reaction time there for Cyan. He does have the Stalkers ready in the natural, by the way, and he's constantly chrono boosting out the Blink. It will not be done quite for this mine drop now, as Maru will unload probably 2 mines here. 1 mine in the main base. Quick split off here for Cyan. Good reborrow. Maru being very annoying here.
Yeah.
As Blink will not quite be done, so that Stalker would have died if Maru actually went for it. But now he can actually try to bait the mine shot with the mine. He's being so annoying.
No. Ooh. Not terrible micro, but still a lot of workers going down in total. 3 over here, 3 total in the natural as well, I think it was. So that's a little bit too much damage.
Yeah.
Honestly, the stars, they all aligned here for Cyan. It was a pure mind drop while he skipped batteries altogether. He opened up with quick blink, no scout. Like this was probably the best case scenario that Cyan is gonna get in his entire life in an early game. And I think Maru just said, well, that's cute. Watch me kill 6 workers with these 3 mines and be kind of fine now.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of the last game. Where we had Cyril versus Firefly, also one of the best players in the world against one of the top Chinese players, and really smart play, honestly, from the Chinese player, who's also even intercepting the Raven. He's gonna get that, right? Blinks forward, barely, will maybe not get that. One more blink, oh my god! That's very annoying because you gotta keep a unit there, but at the very least...
A single shot.
It's already 1 HP. Like, you leave 1 unit there and you're done with it for the rest of the game, basically, until he tries to get back there. And it's really difficult to also rejoin the army because Maru doesn't know if there's a stalker waiting for him to blink forward. So it will stay there for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, until Maru decides to use the all-army hotkey at some point. Which, given that he's a Terran, it might happen sooner than one might think. As Maru is well, he's not really moving out here. That seems unlikely. Cyan also with aggressive move out on the map. And that is completely allowed because, let's face it, he killed the early mines. Those are gone. Did he also end up getting the medevac? Yeah, ended up getting the medevac there. So that's not really a worry of his either. He knows where the Raven is, so there's nothing that can be behind him. These Stalkers can do what they want right now, as long as they don't end up dying. There's also a cute blink in here. He's gonna commit further into the base now. It's just gonna blink down. Honestly, Cyan is playing this quite well. Except for the mine defense, everything so far has been really, really good. The movement with the Stalkers finding that Raven, the build order. I love the follow-up here. The fact that this is Colossus with a high worker count as well. We have batteries coming up at the perfect time. These Stalkers are being controlled well. Like, lots of Marines are going down. This is not a good position for Maru. It really isn't. He could just win the game here. But if he doesn't win the game with this push, he's actually in serious trouble.
Battery also started at the perfect time. 1 Colossus will be ready for the push. And I think one key thing for Cyan here is to not let the Raven rejoin the army, because it has a lot of energy, actually.
Yeah. And something like just auto turrets in a base, or even just a anti-armor missile here would be kind of big. Good movement so far out of Cyan. Maru forced to siege up pretty far away. Cyan's gonna try and jump on this tank. He's gonna succeed at killing 1. Runs away, loses a couple of zealots. That is okay-ish, I guess. That Observer's gonna get taken out. Good bait there, as Maru does manage to rejoin with that Raven. 3 auto turrets in the fight here. Don't really think Cyan should be fighting into this. He's gonna do it, but that's fighting energy, losing a couple of zealots. Not great, and it feels like that Maru probably dealt enough damage here, at least for now. Cyan's still mining from a 3rd base, while Maru isn't. Cyan also has that 2nd Colossus out with thermal lens, which is pretty significant given the fact that Maru's army consists of 21 Marines and 7 Marauders, a single tank. Had that 2nd tank fallen, I actually would say that Cyan might have the ability to move across the map, or at least try to fight a bit more for map control, and then maybe try to push towards the 3rd base. But if there's still a tank, that does make everything a bit more scary.
Yeah, without the last overextension, I think he really wanted to catch the Raven as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, buy some time, blink for 1 Stalker, get the Raven, which was basically for energy, and then he lost 7 Zealots for absolutely nothing there, besides Raven energy, so that was not a good trade. Without it, I think he's actually quite far ahead. It was some really high-level army movement going on. Hold that thought, as Maru just stims towards the natural, takes out 1 of the Colossus, also kills the Robo immediately, so no extra Colossus going down. And it's really good trade once again for Maru, who's just kind of making it work with the army, straight up army engagements here. That's what I wanted to say is one really cool thing was Maru realized, okay, there has to be a Stalker there because he knows I have a 1 HP Raven there. So he tries to go there. Cyan knows that Maru will try to cover for the Raven, to bring back the Raven. So he went forward, sniped the tank. I thought that the interaction was very, very cute, as he now tries to rebuild the robotics facilities. But the overall army engagement so far have been going Maru's favor, which is why he's now left with a 20 army supply advantage, also still up in upgrades. He might hit a timing where he has 1-1 against his opponent's 0-0 upgrades.
Yeah, once again, by the way, Cyan just barely missing this army move out. He saw the Raven, but I'm not sure if that's enough information for him to truly commit to that side. Got another scan forward here. There is a battery in the natural. It's going to be turned into a super battery. Lots of mines in the back. We get a blink forward. 2 auto turrets are going to get thrown down as this Raven that got stopped so early ends this with 7 kills, as Marauders now pushing in forward. Colossus going down, as Maru just a little bit too good here. That Raven playing an absolute key role in this game still, which is insane to think about. It was stuck in the corner with 8 HP. Maru saved it. You know, got those auto turrets, these 3 auto turrets, taking out a bunch of zealots. Now once again, auto turrets helping out quite a bit. Cyan in a terrible spot right here. No battery available, no tech units. As Maru is just going to F2 across the map. A move and even landing the Vikings here. The moment Terrans land Vikings and they're not down in workers, that's usually a very bad sign for the pros.
Yeah, absolutely. Cyan is very dead here. But man, what could have been if you just got the last stalker shot off on the Raven? As Cyan calls GG and it's 1-0 for Maru. I liked Cyan's early game so much. The mine defense, I know it wasn't perfect, but I think he was still in a fine position, and then barely not getting the Raven actually really sucked.
Yeah.
And even afterwards it was still okay. It's just a couple of trades not going too well. This reminds me so much of the Cyril vs Firefly series. There's so many similarities there and parallels. It's pretty sick.
Yeah. And one of the things that I do kind of have to give Maru credit for, where Cyril is someone that is often leans into his very defensive side a lot more. Maru is someone that, no matter the level of the opponent, can pull out some shenanigans. You know, it wouldn't entirely surprise me if he proxies a Rex in the next game, for example. Yeah. So getting away with this type of early game is... It feels more unique versus Maru than it does versus Cyril, right? Because most people can get away with it versus Cyril, like the first 7 or 8 minutes. But versus Maru, surviving the first 6-7 minutes in the way that Cyan did here, that is not extremely common.
Yeah, not at all. I wonder if Cyan will pull something similar. I wouldn't be surprised if Cyan now scouts for all the proxy locations at the very least first. Because he obviously also knows what his opponent likes to play. Against Maru, it's something that's very common to do.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Here I would actually feel pretty annoyed as Cyan, because it felt like everything was going your way.
Yeah, I agree.
It also... That first medevac drop also was legit like 2 seconds before the next Stalker warp in. If you have one more Stalker there, you also... Like, you can't fly into the main. Like, there's so many small things that if they just slightly lean further in favor of Cyan, that I really think he has a good chance. And his Stalker movement was good. Yeah, I don't know. Did fall apart a little bit once the mid-game started, though. Yeah,
I mean, he still has to win the game later on, even if he gets in a phenomenal spot. It's not that easy to just move across the map. As we've loaded into map number 2, which is Oceanborn. What can you tell us about Oceanborn in this matchup?
Yeah, it's hard. This is a rough map. It has a fort base that is difficult to defend. It has an alternative fort base, or a 5th, I guess you could say, which is also hard to defend. A 5th base is hard to defend. 6th base is impossible. There's good liberator spots as well. It's not fun. You need map control. You really need map control. You need loads of it. The early game doesn't feel so hard. It's fairly doable. First 3 bases are kind of easily defended, but yeah. And then also Cyan got the unlucky spawn location. Because he has the freaking ocean monster.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
Look at it. Every 20 seconds in your peripheral vision, this idiot comes by.
If you have your graphic settings on low, you will not have an issue with this. As we actually do see Cyan go for his scout.
Yeah, you were right. At least he's gonna scout a little bit close, and then
yeah, exactly.
90. Man, the Chinese tosses, they believe in the 19 Nexus. I too believe in the 19 Nexus, by the way. I love the 19 Nexus. 19 Nexus when no scouting, it's underrated at the high level, I think, currently.
Yeah, I feel like Oceanborn feels a little bit like Grasswind in the last map for the Zerg versus Terran, where the early game is actually so nice that you feel comfortable on the map, right? You feel like the map is actually good for you. But then later on, it turns on you, and the map all of a sudden isn't that fun to play anymore. I think it's very important though to get that clean early game, especially in tournament, where you get your first 3 bases out a little bit faster than usual. Or just being safe in general. Like getting into a good stage of the game will get you also into a good mindset towards the mid game, which I think can also be very important. But what I wanted to ask you is, do you actually veto it then in a best of 3? Because you have 3 map vetoes, right?
No. I know, because Heartlet is really bad. I think Solaris is really bad.
Yeah.
What's the final one that's really bad?
Side Delta maybe?
Yeah, it's usually I kind of alternate between Side Delta, Hecate, and Oceanborn.
Yeah. Okay, so there's just many Terran maps against Protoss as well. So it's very similar to that.
No, I'm just a little bit of a whiny baby, but
Okay.
it's not that bad. So my belief currently is that Side Delta is actually okay for TOS. I don't think it's that bad. I think I underestimated the power on that map. It's really quite okay. And then some TOSes find Oceanborn okay. I mean, if you're happy staying on 3 bases for a long time and playing heavy 6-gas styles, then this map is not so bad for you. There are very different styles going into the mid game for TOS players. So we're gonna just have an exact repeat here of that last game, by the way, which is kind of cute. And one thing to note as well is that Cyan does not chrono boost workers a lot, or at least didn't do it last time. And also, I think stopped worker production at some point. So these are just things to kind of remember, is that worker damage hits much harder if you only have 36 workers rather than 42. So one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot recently, especially against double gas, is that because you can never have blink out anyway to deal with the first medevac, is that it might just be better to chrono your Nexi. Because this blink timing that he's trying to chrono out, like, what is this blink timing for? This blink timing is gonna finish if your opponent opened up with a Reaper 1 gas, you know? Then you had blink for the medevac, but you're never gonna get it in this case. So what are we really doing it for? Probably better to just get a couple of extra probes, oversaturate a bit, then get a Nexus, but oh well. It's in position this time around. Maru tried the exact same angle, so this is already much, much better here for Cyan.
Yeah, overall, it's a really good opener for Cyan. Yeah. Because Maru is playing the exact repeat. And Cyan actually skipped the third gateway this time as well. So he has a faster third Nexus. And he didn't take the probe damage in the early game. He did, however, not chrono boost his blink as much. Like last time, at this time, I think he was already done. As Maru is now, once again, he gets to drop all 3 Widow Mines. It should be difficult, though, for him to leave with them. So at the very least, Cyan will get a cleanup here. He even blinks forward, which means the medevac can is free to go back into the natural, actually. I'm very surprised that this ever gets to unload something again. I think he targeted the wrong probe there. But now there's too many probes. You need to run away with all but 1 probe. Forward blink gets both shots off.
Ooh.
And at the very least kills the mine. Overall, slightly better start than last time.
Yeah, I think this had to do with the fact that he mined less gas, by the way. He still had 3 chronos on Twilight. So, yeah, it must have just been slightly less gas mining in the early game. Not entirely sure why he did that. Maybe it was a mistake, or maybe he just forgot his Twilight Council. I didn't see exactly when it went down. Follow-up here for Maru seems to be a 2 tank push without stim, without combat shield. Oh, Raven once again very low. Isn't gonna go down though, as 2 Marines will fall. Battery goes down, double battery on the 3rd base. He's cutting worker production. I think this is a mistake. I think one of the most important things you can do right now is continuing worker production, as it shouldn't impede your ability to produce at all, honestly. Immortal is out. This is going to be a pretty tight fight, though, for Cyan. It's not an easy hold.
Yeah, the batteries are just not done. So Maru will target on the battery at the front. I think that should be a cancel. He actually lets it finish, which is probably a mistake as well. So now he does have the super battery. He doesn't have that many units, though, to engage with. He still tries to. The Immortal gets shot at very early on. And it's a very uncomfortable engagement. He blinks forward, trying to go on top of the tank. The Immortal is target firing the other tank, but all of his units are dying here. Only 1 Stalker remains from that fight, and all he got was the tank and a couple of Marines. So that was an awful engagement here for Cyan. And Maru can also now freely reinforce this, because there's no Stalkers on the map. There's nothing to keep Maru from just sending forward all of his units, and he smells blood in the water. Oh, this was a good pick-off, though, on the tank.
Yeah.
And now he can't go anymore.
That was important.
And you can keep chasing here as well. There's no stim done yet.
Yeah, there is a medevac, but enjoy lifting 8 Marines into a medevac that has, what, 82 HP remaining. Tank is going to siege up and is going to secure this position, at least for now. Cyan, about even in supply with his opponent, which usually is good for the Protoss player, is going to hit that 60 worker mark as well, as the flank is coming in with the Stalkers. I would love for this Immortal to piss off back home. You have no business doing here. You don't have blink. You're not a Stalker. You're expensive. You're important. We don't need you here right now, buddy. Charge has finished. Thermal Lens is on the way. First Colossus is out. Honestly, this is a good spot for our Protoss player.
Yeah, I don't disagree. The supplies are even. I mean, Maru is going to have a big timing once again. He's going to have 1-1 against 0-0. Very similar to last game. But on this map, it's a little bit easier to just stay solid on 3 base. It's not that easy to go in between the bases like we saw on side delta. So I hope that Cyan won't fall apart like he did in the last game to the quick attacks from Maru.
Yeah. One word though of criticism perhaps here for Cyan is his complete lack of map vision, especially on the right side. Now he's trying to at least secure something on the left, but he is extremely blind. There's no cannon in the natural either. He's opening himself up for the things that you don't want to open yourself up to. Double mine drops with an armory, double mine drops without an armory. Just a double drop heading in. Is the Raven is still alive as well, so could come in at any point, drop some auto turrets. There's really no defense and no scouting there. Also nothing on the middle of the map. So Cyan doesn't have that much knowledge. If anything just goes away from these stalkers, Cyan has no clue what's kicking off. He's blind, just legit blind.
That is true. I think it's very funny if you think of the comparison of the Stats game we saw earlier. Stats tried to have a builder that's safe against everything, and he always pre-split his stalkers, as we have a little bit of a skirmish here in the middle of the map. They trade somewhat evenly. Cyan still no forward base, so Maru will be very happy to see that. Why is he making it on top of the units as it scans? It does get cancelled right away. He baits in one marauder that he kills, maybe a second one if he's lucky, but probably not. Yeah, I mean, marauder costs more than the cancel.
Yeah, that was worth it. Good play there by Cyan. Genius. I can't believe Maru fell for that trick. Terrans hate him. It always works. As a good pre-split here, actually, out of Cyan. He's now going to send some zealots on the map as well, just for vision. These are not zealots for run-bys. So he sees the second army moving out. He's gonna... He has 4 Colossus already? Okay, I don't mind
4 Colossus, but I think he missplit. I think he has way too many units at the front now. If Maru jumps on it, I guess it's very difficult to jump with 2 batteries there and a lot of zealots. So Maru thinks this is the army to jump, but I disagree, since this is the one with the 3 Colossus on it.
Yeah, and also batteries there are about to finish up. I think Cyan is just safe. And this is gravitic drive, yeah. Okay, that's the Warp Prism speed. I actually really like Cyan's position here. The only thing he's lacking is a second forge. If he had a second forge pumping armor upgrades right now, I'd say Cyan is in a significant lead. This Prism is huge. That Zealot run-by setup is huge. There's no bunker at the third base. There is a tank and a couple of units. There are no turrets in the main, and Vikings aren't in position to deal with this. We have a double mine drop heading into the natural, but look at what just finished. That is a cannon, and cannons are real nice against these mines. There's no armory yet either, so... yeah, even if that cannon wasn't there, this would have failed miserably, most likely. Armory's finishing up just now. Prism is going to fly in. And I think this is an opportunity for Cyan to move across the map as well, to get a little bit of map control, to maybe establish a 5th base even. But without a second forge, it almost feels like he's kind of putting himself in a more all-in position than he ever should be.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you just said, but I don't think his position is that great because he's basically on a very low worker count. And if he wants to saturate more, he either needs to take more gases or keep expanding, right? Which seems kind of rough. And he's being outmined for a while now because Maru has had more workers, and he's gonna tech up more. So I would think that if Maru actually maxes out, I would prefer his army, especially once 2-2 is done. It's very Zealot Colossus heavy, right? Which is very good right now. It's very good against a push. Later down the line against the Ghost Viking Bio army with 2-2, I don't like it as much anymore.
Yeah, I gotta need some disruptors or immortals in that army. That's definitely true. Prism is still gonna head in towards the main base. And how many gates do we actually have? We have 8 gateways done. I think 2 more just finished. Yeah, not turned into warp gates quite yet. Zealots do enter the main base. We get a scan out of Maru as well. This honestly, without any disruptors or immortals here, I don't think this is quite gonna work out. Zealots trying to run in towards the third seems silly almost at this point. He's gonna attempt it though, as an anti-armor missile hits a chunk of this army. 14 workers have gone down on the side of Maru. I don't entirely understand Cyan's game plan here. I think sending in prisms and dealing worker damage is a fantastic game plan if you have 84 probes yourself. But right now you're trading, what, 15 zealots for 20 SCVs, and you don't have that big of a bank. Your production isn't that large. You can't just continue taking trades like this. So I feel like if you want to play low worker count, you need to focus on getting very good fights and a strong late game or a strong mid game army, and then you're just forcing a very good fight. But here, I'm not entirely sure what this is. Anti-armor still active on these Colossus. That means that Cyan cannot fight into these Vikings, because these Colossi are just going to absolutely melt. EMP not quite gonna hit. Disruptor coming in from the side is gonna get a good first hit here. Big Purification Nova there. Vikings actually taking a bit of damage as well, as the first Colossus will end up dying. Ship weapons level 1 finishing up, as well as 2-2. Do you think Maru wants to still fight here?
I think Maru is distracted right now from the DTs, which are split, and there were no turrets ready here whatsoever. So Maru took his time to clean up those DTs first, and then he's thinking about the fight later on, which I think is good. I don't think Cyan can walk up this ramp. I mean, that's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I don't think Cyan thinks he can walk up that ramp either.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit brave there, Cyan. Let's not do anything crazy right now. As he's indeed gonna walk back. Worms in 10 more Zealots or so, or 8 more Zealots, whatever that was. Yeah, it is really scary, because his armies, the army quality right now is not very good. This Zealot drum, this is genius. This is so good.
Yeah, he needs to trade away these Zealots. He forces Maru's entire army. I wish for Cyan's army to do something though at the same time, because you know, okay, he needs to return now with his entire army and try to poke, find some units somewhere. But I mean, at this point, at the very least, he's getting. Oh, he left the depot open.
Blunder.
So this will be so annoying for Maru. He needs to deal with Zealots at 3 different bases at this point and loses 11 SCVs already. Cyan clearly outmining him at this point. See, I wish this army movement with the Stalkers would have come a little bit sooner. Yeah. Because he could have done something else at the same time.
What a blunder there by Maru, leaving these depots open for such a long time. That could have been way, way worse had Cyan been a bit more aggressive with his main army. I understand being hesitant initially, because you're not sure what the opponent's army is going to do, and you don't want to fight, you know, down 50, 60 army supply, because all your Zealots are on the other side. Then again, with Disruptors and Sentries, you should be capable of zoning the Terran army away, at least for a little bit. So, yeah, I do agree with you. Once again, I think the lack of observers here, far on the map, deep on Maru's side, is... yeah, is not really helping Cyan out here. He really needs to get a bit more vision. That's a good blink. He's gonna get the Ravens, gonna get a Viking as well. Weird control on those Vikings, honestly, out of Maru. As Cyan in a good spot. He really is in a very good spot here. Liberators are out. That is scary. But Disruptors are also out, and those are scary too.
Those are scary too, yeah. I mean, Cyan finally overtook Maru in terms of worker count, and both now being on 5 bases, I still don't hate this for Maru whatsoever, because his army is just so strong. Once 3-3 finishes, especially with 5 bases mining very happily. The only thing he's missing is sensor towers, as this is a rough fight for Cyan. Most of the Disruptors go down before they fire. The last one is just being split towards. And with all the Disruptors on cooldown, this 5th base has to be sacked for Cyan here. Yeah. Or he just tries to run on the... towards the Cyan's army. Maru actually going for the full-on engagement. That Disruptor hit is big. The next one also pretty big, and Maru is just trying to fight into this overcharge, which I think might be a mistake here.
Yeah, who would have thought that fighting in the super battery is not good. At the same time, Zealot run by is hitting Maru here on the other side as well. 58 workers right now for Maru, fighting seconds before his 3-3 finished. He got greedy there, attacking into the 3rd base rather than taking out that 5th base, which I'm pretty sure Cyan was gonna give up. Cyan has triple robos behind us, and he's pumping Disruptors out. He has better eco, he has a big bank behind us, is getting a 6th base, has killed 11 workers just now. The overall worker lost is 3 probes on the side of Cyan versus 43 SCVs lost on the side of Maru. I think Cyan here is overstepping just a tiny bit though.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to buy time for his Zealots to hit the 3rd base. So he's trying to distract Maru, who at his own 3rd base only has Vikings. This is not enough to hold the Zealots. And it's once again very annoying for Maru, because he knows, okay, he needs to keep his army together, otherwise he will lose his 5th base location to the main army of Cyan. The one Immortal is still helping out a lot here with dishing out the damage towards the planetary, and all of those SCVs will most likely go down as well. Cyan making it happen here on Oceanborn.
What a beast, as he snipes the Liberator and pisses off. 5th base goes down, SCV's falling on the 3rd base as well. Cyan, man, he's playing a freaking game over here. Holy crap. 6 Disruptors still alive. +3 armor is on the way. Liberator count is fairly high. I think that... Oh! That Disruptor almost hit big.
That could have almost been game ending.
The base rate is correct, right?
I mean, if he gets in between his own bases and Maru's army, he can also just keep keep trying to buy time. Maru right now deciding to get liberated range, trying to wait for extra liberators. But Cyan's going towards 7 bases at this point. Cyan heavily outmining Maru. And as long as he keeps trading, as long as he doesn't let Maru max out and get to a big army, I love it for him. Oh no, a missed rally here for Maru, costing him big time. Now down 50 supply as the Zealots run into the entire army, not taking the best trades, but any trade at this point is really good for Cyan as he works towards the natural, tries to zone out his units. Good to disrupt 2 hits once again. Not perfect micro here from Maru by any means, and Cyan is taking it here.
Yeah, needs to be careful though. Can't afford to lose every single unit without killing too much. Of course, still has very good reinforcement capabilities behind this. Tries to recall out with a couple of units. Army supply still in favor of Cyan, and this seems to be the death blow to Maru's eco. Good lord, I can't even speak anymore. I can't believe that Cyan is winning this. Advanced Ballistics about to finish up. That's great, but the bio with it isn't big enough, so just lips aren't good. There's also no ship weapons level 2, which is a huge upgrade against Stalkers. Right now, I think Cyan, he needs to give up 1, maybe even both of these bases, although that does sound a little bit scary. Can't just throw away Zealots for free anymore though, buddy. You need a big army at some point. You're gonna need to max out and then go for it. He's gonna engage into it. There are no ghosts with this army. There's no ghost at all on the map.
Oh, Cyan actually missed the freshest base from Maru here, because this one could have been a huge kill. As he leaves the Liberators alone, Cyan doesn't quite think he has enough Stalkers. I don't think he even needs to engage here. He has expanded towards the other side, and I think he can keep expanding as he's counterattacking with Zealot DT, and Maru just can't keep up with these counterattacks. Cyan just can't afford to use so many more units than Maru has, and Maru is struggling really hard right now to deal with these constant run-bys.
Let's face it, Maru's getting outplayed by Cyan in this game. He can't keep up with the multitasking, man. This guy's a beast. Zealots are everywhere, DTs are everywhere. Yes, Cyan just lost the base on the right side, and it sucks, but he still has, what, how many? He got 6 bases in total. Maru is mining from his 5th, but is about to lose his natural here. Orbital command's gonna go down. How many orbitals do we have left then? 2, so that's not too many scans remaining either. We have 2 Colossus at home, as well as a couple of Phoenixes. We have a cannon and a battery. These cannons and batteries can't even be killed. There's not enough damage output from the bio, or almost not enough damage output from the bio. Cyan is completely committing to a base trade. I think that is overdoing it a little bit here. I wouldn't have minded seeing him just go home and clear up all of these lips. I'm also not entirely sure about the shield upgrades at this point, but oh well, it is what it is. Cyan, he just needs to take out these planetaries and he's fine, right? Can he do that with his army?
I think you should let the man cook, because it's so... I'm not even sure this is entirely fair to call this a base trade. He keeps expanding towards the left, and there's like legit 5 bio units in his natural. Yeah. So I don't think he's in any danger of dying on his side of the map.
I just don't want him to give it away, Lambo. He's so close, man. He's freaking gold in his hands. As Shadow Stride's about to finish up here, and once these DTs can blink onto this Marauder, what is it, the 3.5 Marauders and the half Marine in there as well. Here comes Cyan, he's gonna blast his army, as mentioned. Ship weapons level 1, Cyan ties up the series after a phenomenal game number 2 here on Oceanborn. And I'd be surprised if Maru is gonna open up game number 3 here with a double gas opener into a triple mine drop. Because this felt like a disrespect to Cyan. After that game 1 doing the exact same build again, I don't think Maru's gonna go for a repeat.
No, I would be very surprised as well. I think the Proxy Reaper is coming out. Proxy 1 Rex Reaper, you don't even need to be that committed. Just have something that Cyan can't just follow his plan from the get-go. I think that will be Maru's plan. But I don't even think Cyan was that insanely far ahead. Like, sure, his position was good, but after the mid-game, when he was down 10 workers the entire time being outmined, he wasn't even up in upgrades. Yeah. He had Zealot Colossus against a max out Maru. It's not like he started the late game from an insanely good position. I'm very impressed by his play. I'm very impressed.
One of the things that Maru was lacking, that a lot of the other top Terrans usually do, including Maru, is the mind spread around the map. Not just to shoot at like the single Zealot, but also just for vision, right? Because Maru got caught off guard time after time again with these Zealots, just like, and it wasn't 5 Zealots, because Maru could have dealt with 5 Zealots. It was 25 Zealots or 30 Zealots walking into a base, and that's what really hurt him. And he was lacking that mind spread. It felt at times the movement was sloppy. I think what really set off this sequence of bad events was at some point he just floated a bunch of Vikings and like 2 Liberators into a Stalker army, and then Cyan pushed that back. It was like, ooh, the Purification Novas hit way more often than you'd expect in a game of Cyan versus Maru as well. So he is not playing an optimal Terran versus Protoss, but don't want to take anything away from Cyan because he did play an optimal Protoss versus Terran.
He played so well. I'm very impressed by him. Also, even in the early game, he wasn't afraid of anything. He made that cute stalker move in towards the main base of Maru. He's not afraid to be on the map, which, you know, if you're playing against someone that is considered a huge favorite, it feels so easy. You're overthinking it. You're like, okay, what if the mine drop hits me there? What if the Raven hits me there? He's like, no, I'm just gonna stay on the map. Try to make it hard for Maru to move out, and it worked out perfectly here. And we'll see how Maru adjusts, because I doubt he will play the same once again. As Cyan actually was the one who requested a 2-minute break here, which is cool to see. He's like, okay, Maru, you sit down for a second, you think about what just happened, you just got owned, and then he wants to go again afterwards.
Yeah, we cook for a little bit. Yeah. Maru is sweating as well. You can feel it. It's like, oh, this is a bad lose to have. If you're seed 1 against a seed 6, that is not nice. That is not nice at all. Just losing a map there is frustrating for sure. But yeah, I mean, the series here is on the line, and map number 3 is going to be Alcyone. I'm so curious what Cyan is going to bring. You know what I would love the most here, Lambo? You know what I actually would love the most? If Cyan opens up with like a proxy Stargate or something, or takes like the double gold, like a map-specific banger in there as well. That would absolutely make my day, because he did the same thing twice in a row. Look at our calls, by the way. Like, yeah, you said it. It's just gonna be a proxy Rex, because you cannot afford your opponent to just play his own game once more. I think Maru realized, he was like, okay, you had a good time executing your crap that you practiced at home versus the AI. Very cool. Let's see how you deal against the proxy Reaper, because from what I can recall, the AI Easy does not do a proxy Reaper. And if they do, I doubt that Reaper is going to be microed as well as Maru does it.
Yeah, 100%. I like the decision here from Maru.
Yeah.
And Cyan so far not scouting once again. We will see if he scouts for the last time. He just scouted the very closest proxy Rex location. So in this case, it would not be this. This is a very obvious one though. Like, this is probably the one I see the most. So we'll see if he scouts it. If he goes to the very top of his natural, will he see it?
It's a good question.
Oh, he scouts for it. It's lined up. That's it. That's the next one he goes to. It's too late to cancel it, but it's still nice to know, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's good information, otherwise you're in serious trouble. Yeah, he's gonna find it. Ooh, SEV actually moving incorrectly there is once again gonna be exposed. That is some serious delay here. It's still possible.
Oh, no. Oh my god, it's going the wrong way every single time! Does he have to go manually to the other side? He's gonna get the SCV, no? Yeah. Oh no, he barely doesn't get the SCV, but there's a lot of delay on the Reaper, which is very important. He starts the Nexus. Do you get a Zealot here at this point?
Pylon. No, you Pylon. You just Pylon. Yes, this is genius.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, Pylon, core into Nexus, because you know that the SCV is damaged, so a bunker is unrealistic. Maru also realized and already sent the second SCV here. So that is something at least for Maru. And he can still perhaps get that bunker. Well, actually, it's gonna start too late. It's simply just... It's 20 seconds for an Adept, and that Adept also was 5 seconds in already. Bunker takes 29, right? Yeah. It's gonna be tight. I think you're gonna need one hit of a probe on it, and then you probably can deny it. You need to ignore this Reaper, though. I think you need to ignore the Reaper.
Yeah, he's trying to do so. He's chasing the Reaper actually with it up, which means the bunker will always go up. And in that case, the Pylon position actually is very annoying, because he cannot get the battery up there, like whatsoever.
Oh no, that's not good. Marine's gonna get in there as well, and right now what you need to do is you need to stand in between the bunker and the barracks, as to not allow more Marines to go in there. So this is good control here, at least out of Cyan. He's gonna need to build another pylon, which he hasn't yet.
He needs to try to defend it with an Immortal, no? I think he's gonna wait for an Immortal. I think he's gonna wait for an Immortal because this bunker... But the bunker doesn't actually cover the mineral line. Like, he can mine from this.
Yeah, no? But this is... I mean, robo openers against double gas are not good.
Oh, I mean, I can't see it. I'm just telling you what he's doing.
I know what he's doing, but I don't like it. He needed a second pylon near the low ground. If he wanted... Like, getting an Immortal is so expensive. He's gonna Immortal all in behind this.
Oh no, the Cyclone's actually going to catch one of the adapts. The second one will zone for it, so that's nice. I'm very surprised he's not just mining from the natural. Like, you have a Reaper wall in the main, no?
Yeah.
How come you're rallying your probes to the main?
I'm not sure. I am not sure. I mean,
oh, 2 extra gates. It's gonna be just a War Prism after this Immortal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just an Immortal, and he's cutting workers pretty hard as well here. He's hoping to get something with this Immortal. He shouldn't. We have a medevac on the way out already. And if the tank starts, which it will, I'm having a very difficult time to see how this is gonna work out for Cyan.
Yeah, man, if only he would have gotten the bunker.
Oh, yeah.
Well, either way, the way it is right now, there's 2 Cyclones on the map for Maru. Starts with a medevac, goes Viking second, which is really good against us as well. So
yeah, Maru knows what's happening. Like, I mean, you see an Immortal and no worker production on the natural. Like this.
Yeah, the entire time as well. Like, he had vision on it the entire. I would have loved to see him just constantly make a probe and then cancel the last second. So at least it looks like it's worker production. As Maru is going now for the double Cyclone drop. Cyan trying to, I guess, to have heavily committed harassment, I'm gonna call it, towards the other side of the map, as this is obviously not gonna kill Maru by any means, and at this rate he needs to watch out that he doesn't die at home to the 2 Cyclones that are now entering his main base. 4 probes are gonna go down right away, the Stalker will go down right away as well. 3 Stalkers are coming from the natural and defend this eventually, but at the same time on the other side, the Immortal and the 2 Adepts are getting dropped.
Yeah, tank went down already, and we're gonna get a Stalker warp in. There's actually no Marines here whatsoever, because the barracks, of course, had to fly back home. So you don't have that reactor production. 6 SCVs going down. This natural is toast. No stim on the way quite yet. Yes, it's only 31 workers, and the Cyclones are coming back home. The moment you can see those Cyclones here, by the way, as Cyan, that's a pretty freaking big deal, because then you know that everyone can move across the map. He was already doing it before he was allowed to, but now he got the confirmation that his move was somewhat safe. He's gonna try and jump here on the tank. He's gonna get the tank. Immortal stays alive. Maru in a world of trouble.
Maru in a world of trouble. The one saving grace for him here is that the War Prism went down, but he just doesn't have the units. The one more tank sieges up, and I think Cyan needs to watch out now. I don't think he should overextend, because the moment he stays there, he will lose the Immortal. He has full vision of the tank and sieging. He's gonna go on it. Maru can drop it back. Okay, he didn't siege, which was very important there. The moment he sieges, I think he's just dead.
He's dead, yeah.
And he's still warping in units. He's still reinforcing. The War Prism rejoins. He needs to make sure that the Immortal is not in range of the tank.
He starts charging. Cyan smells blood in the water. He's like, I'm not playing a macro game against you for a second time, buddy. I'm playing two-base charge. And there's no stim on the way. There's no combat shield. Medevac here is moving in forward as well. He's warping into the Adepts. He's got a shade on top of this.
I mean, there's nothing stopping him from just going into the main base as well. Maru knows it, which means he's retreating with the tank. He's trying to cover both bases at the same time now. He's shading on top of the tank. He's unloading on top of the tank. The Immortal is firing at the tank. And I think Cyan is doing it here as... Oh, did the War Prism go down though? Yeah. that is very bad, as a new tank is popping out as well. I mean, he's still trading very well though. 5 SCVs are going down, only 1 tank is here. There's no stim to speak of whatsoever. There will be another wave with stim, although I do think he needs to retreat at this point.
I don't think you can shoot down that tank, buddy. He lost 2 Stalkers there. That wasn't great. He's gonna get a Nexus. I would have loved for that Nexus to be at the gold, but I don't think he has the clarity of mind for that right now. This medevac is gonna scout. Why? I guess to see if there's a gold?
Gold, yeah. I wouldn't even mind him going like a Forgas and Archon instead of the Immortal that he's starting, and just attack again. Like, there's never going to be a stim ready whatsoever.
Yeah, he's going to go with a charge attack for sure. Like, he's attacking here. He's not going to be sitting back. And don't forget, once you have charge, you have 2 serious options, right? You have the option of going in towards the main base and towards the natural. And I don't really see how Maru is going to defend, honestly, either, but definitely not both at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 Stalkers ready in the War Prism. There's no tank siege in the main base. Maru right now thinks the Observer is dead, but Maru has vision on the tanks, which means he knows, okay, there is nothing here. Cyan can't warp in Zealous because he's a little bit supply blocked, so I guess Cyan will wait for his Immortals to show up together with the Sentries and go for a frontal attack once maybe the 3rd base lands.
Tactical supply block there, not entirely working out for Cyan, but he's well saturated on this 3rd base. Stim is still only halfway done. Combat shield, we don't even have vision on combat shield yet. There's a thick fog covering it right now, as the 2nd Immortal is about to pop. Zealot count is increasing. Blink is on the way. I mean, we see the tanks being split. There's no bunker in the natural.
There's no bunker in natural. Tanks are split. The Raven is in the main base as well. He scouts how exactly Maru is set up, and he's gonna try to go. I hope Cyan will just go at the natural. Maru is loading up 8 Marines to go to the other side of the map. It's not the time for this right now, Maru. As he's, oh my god, he's actually doing it. Please go at the front right now, Cyan. No.
Full wall, full wall. 2 more depots on the way. Stim is about to finish up. Stim is about to finish up. He can still clear this. The Prism is coming in as well. He's going to drop on top of these tanks as he's being pulled instantly. Medevac of Maru is not turning around. This Prism is sieging up in an interesting position, but I think this Warpin is going to go through. What is happening with that Medevac? It's returning back home. It's boosting back home. I think Cyan has done it.
I think he's done it as well. The Medevac was F2'd home momentarily. He will kill a lot of stuff on the other side of the map, but Maru can't even survive at home, and it's just a Medevac. There's batteries. There's a battery at the third base.
CC goes down. Sentry tickles it to death. Stalker's now warping in as well. There's no combat shield still. Super battery can be activated here. Cyan is in the main base of Maru. What an insane game. Oh no.
Dude, I love it so much. I don't want to be a biased caster, but this group started with the 5 big guys. This